that? I want you to hear a testimony that somebody told me. It's like, come on now, don't tell me that. So we're going to talk about alkalizing. Now let's think about it. No disease, no illness, no virus, no sickness, no cancer, no fat. Fat can't live in an alkaline environment, but it's also getting your body right, your gut right, everything. Every solitary thing that a person gets, no matter what it might be, you have to work your way backwards. And when you work your way backwards, it was this and that and this. And then we had inflammation. That wouldn't have happened if we didn't have a compromised immune system. And then we got a compromised, well, how did that happen? You wouldn't even have a compromised immune system if your gut was correct. Every disease, every health issue starts it happens because of the gut. But let's listen to somebody who did do what we were talking about. And so far, it's not even so good. It's unbelievably good. So, Tony, why don't you tell the people what happened to you now, living this lifestyle and doing things right and doing them properly and given a matter of time, because everything's going to take a little time. Listen to what Tony's got to say, guys.
Well, it wasn't so much,
Where are
um,
you at? Okay, there you're at.
yeah, yeah, okay, sorry. It wasn't so much time because in a very short time of taking the product, my whole life changed. So deep sleep. I have massive deep sleep where I'm dreaming, and so I'm healing at that point in time. Two is I had a PET scan approximately a year ago, and the nodules in my lungs were growing. Now, two PET scans, 6 months apart, no nodules. Everything in my life has changed. I feel like I'm 30 again. I'm 61. My birthday was yesterday, 2 days ago. Excuse me, 2 days ago on the 7th, and my whole life's changed. And it's hard to identify. Amazing product, will not go anywhere else. It has touched my life, and I was on 3 pharmaceutical drugs, off all of them. I don't take no pharmaceutical drug. My blood pressure is good. My cholesterol is good. All my vitals are good. Um, it's off the chart, amazing, just off the chart.
Awesome. Thank you very much. Guys, that's what happens. All plants, right? Think about this company. 100% certified organic, USDA certified organic, everything plants, 100% chemical free, 100% toxic free. Now we're going to bring on Dr. Becky, and she's going to talk to you a little bit about how this works. What's the gut? Dr. Becky, sum things up and tell us what this gut heart axis is all about.
Thanks, Michael. Thanks, Tony, for that wonderful testimonial. And Michael, I'm just going to say one thing before we go into the gut heart axis. When you talked about Wegovy, semaglutide, Ozempic, that stuff's garbage. And I did some consulting work down in Newport Beach, California, a little over a year ago with a spa that was a quote unquote weight loss spa. And they were showing their clients, their patients, how to inject themselves with these drugs. And, me being a butts and guts doctor, they would send all these patients to me because of the nausea, the vomiting, the distension, that didn't feel good. It just, horrible side effects, especially from a GI standpoint. And like you said, we don't understand the long-term side effects with these drugs, but you're going to see them. And I just think it's a cash machine. I mean, the type of money that they were charging these patients to learn how to inject themselves with poison was just shocking to me. And some of them would lose maybe a pound in a month, and they would still pay like $1,300 cash in a month to keep going. I'm like, what's wrong with you people? So anyway, that's my soapbox on that deal. But tonight we're going to talk about your gut and your heart, your cardiovascular system as a whole. And, Michael, you and I started these Zooms about 4 weeks ago, and we first started talking about the gut brain axis, because when your microbiome, these trillions of organisms, are healthy and happy, they're producing good neurotransmitters, and they're stimulating the superhighway between the brain and the gut and the brain. So you're creating a great environment for your brain chemistry. Then we talked about the gut-skin connection, because when the microbiome of your gut is healthy, then the microbiome of your skin is also healthy because there's communication there. Then we talked about gut and liver health. wow, through the portal system, through the systemic circulation, through just the direct relationship of the liver, the gallbladder, and the microbiome, we create a healthy liver environment when the microbiome is healthy. And the immune system is strong and the endocrine system is strong. But why are we seeing now a lot of research and a lot of substantial results in that research between the gut and the cardiovascular system? It has everything to do with the microbiome. And let me just share this, and this is kind of common knowledge. As we get older, and globally on a scale of what's happening with disease states, they're escalating. You know, heart disease is escalating, pulmonary disease, neurodegenerative disease, arthritic conditions, any kind of chronic inflammatory conditions, autoimmune conditions, skin conditions. We're just seeing more and more and more and more, and it has everything to do with what you are putting in your gut. And if you're not, stimulating healthy development of beneficial microbiome, you are going to deteriorate. And it just, it's a system. Everything is a system. They're all symbiotic. They're all related. And I'm going to look at my notes a little bit tonight because I'm not a cardiologist. I'm a butts and guts doctor. And I do a lot of reading. And that was one thing I loved about med school, internship, residency, gastrointestinal fellowship, is I love to learn. And I'm always just like a sponge for knowledge. And I found this article today and I posted it on my Facebook page. So if you want to take a look at it, the title of it, and this is great, it's the gut cardiovascular connection, the new era of cardiovascular therapy. They're looking at the microbiome and treating the microbiome to help people ward off cardiovascular disease. Has everything to do with gut permeability, everything to do with setting up the inflammatory cascade. But this particular peer-reviewed journal, wow, I'm just going to read it off because I don't want to skip anything because this is super important. Host microbiome and cardiovascular risks. These are studies that actually looked at the microbiome of individuals. There's also some mouse studies in there, but there are a lot of human trials and human studies of people that were either experiencing cardiovascular disease or at very high risk with risk factors. They can actually, collect stool samples and look at the different organisms that's in your stool. So they can look at the beneficial ones and they could look at the really bad ones. So if the bad is outgrowing the good and you've got a nasty microbiome going on because you're not supporting it, here's what you're at risk for in a substantial way. Just in general, atherosclerosis. Okay, a lot of people know that as plaque, hardening of the arteries. But you have to understand that atherosclerosis is a chronic inflammatory process of your vessels, of your arteries. How does this happen? Leaky gut. A bad microbiome allows for intestinal permeability. That just means leaky gut. So all these toxins go flying into your vascular system. Your vascular system has 60,000 miles of vascular distance 2 times around the world. So all these toxins fly in. They set up home in your vascular system, so it can lead to hardening of the arteries. Anywhere, can be in your carotid arteries, can be in your coronary arteries, it could be in your peripheral vasculature, but you're at risk for hypertension, you're at risk for stroke, you're at risk for peripheral vascular disease, myocardial infarction, which is just heart attack, and aneurysms. This has now become mainstream research about the microbiome and cardiovascular disease. And I want to link this in with your omegas, because we've talked about this several times in terms of a routine to just, get rid of the biofilm, protect your microbiome, support your microbiome with your pH shakes, with your greens, with your reds, the digestive enzymes, probiotics, phytocleanse. That all does wonderful things to support your microbiome, but so do the omegas. Now, Michael's omegas are different than a lot of omegas. It's plant-based, it's cold pressed flax seed oil. Now, guys, when I was in practice and to this day, I love flax. I love flax seed. I love flaxseed oil. To me, it's always been the great balancer of the intestines. But you know what? It's fuel for the good microbiome. So when you take the omegas and it's flax And within the flax, it's a natural antioxidant. It's a natural anti-inflammatory, but because it's a natural anti-inflammatory, is that when this gets in your system, your microbiome look at it as food, because that's what flaxseed and flaxseed oil is. It's food for your microbiome. So the beneficial microbiome chomps on it and creates more beneficial microbiome to decrease leaky gut, to decrease intestinal permeability, but also to support being an antioxidant and supporting the development of something called short chain fatty acids. So when these microbes, this microbiome starts chomping on this organic flaxseed oil, which are his omegas, then they are creating a healthier environment, but producing short chain fatty acids. So much research out there is if you have a decline in short chain fatty acids, you're at risk for all those cardiovascular diseases I just mentioned. So omegas are just another part of the pie to support the cardiovascular system. And the fact that it's cold pressed, it's toxin free. A lot of omegas out there are very toxic for you because of the ingredients within them. This is the perfect omega with the perfect balance of omega-3, omega-6, omega-9. This also supports your skin. You can actually cut open Michael's omegas and rub them anywhere you want on your body. But just the fact that if you ingest them orally, they're going to support the hydration and the health of your skin. Why? Because it's supporting your microbiome. So there's so much that goes on with the microbiome. And the more we see, more disease states, and the more we eat garbage and the more we poison ourselves with unnecessary pharmaceuticals, then the more we're going to see a decline in our health. And what's really scary is I read another statistic today that China, the number one cause of death in China, 40% of the population is dying from cardiovascular issues because a lot of their diet is not going the right way. So, you are what you eat. We are supporting the microbiome and supporting the immune system, our endocrine system, our brain, our skin, our liver, and we're warding off inflammation and we're helping our heart. So everything is all linked. And I'll end with this because I read this today too. And let me see if I can find this. Oh, the cardiovascular institutes are now saying that the microbiome is its own organ system. Is that incredible or what? The microbiome is its own organ system because it is doing everything systemically. If it's healthy, we're systemically healthy. If it's unhealthy, then systemically we're falling apart. So I'm going to end with that, Michael. And I learned a lot today through all my reading. I did not know as much as I learned today about the link between the gut and the cardiovascular system.
Absolutely. And we talked about biofilm.
Right.
Because I think that's really important, that if no matter what anybody has, what you have to do, have going on, the first thing you need to do is really cleanse. And, there's a lot of cleanses in the marketplace, but I can tell you this much. I only know of one cleanse right now, right here, that is a complete biofilm cleanse from a cellular level. I'm talking, you got biofilm in your nose, you got biofilm in your mouth and up behind your ears, everywhere, right? And it does that, and then it takes care of all the organs. It takes care of if you got heavy metals or parasites, whatever the case might be, old vaccinations laying around. You get rid of the biofilm in 3 days. You aren't gonna like be thinking like, oh goodness, I got to do this in 3 days. I'm gonna have to stay home. And they think, no, it's not. You won't even know it's even happening. But you start over. That's the key. You're starting over, right? I mean, so okay, so. Yeah, so let's talk a little bit about Essanté Organics, right? Because you can really dig deep into this company, guys. And you know what? You look at a company that everything you do every single day, including when Dr. Becky teaches us what we do inside the body. Did you know something? Here's a really good something that we could talk about sometimes too. Is this that you can gain weight from using the wrong from using chemicals and stuff on your skincare, in your hair care products, things like that. Why? Because you're gonna create hormonal imbalances and crazy estrogen stuff going on and everything like that. So 50% of your life you can decrease all disease by 50% just by doing the right things on the inside, and then 46% by what you're doing on the outside of the body. And guess what? That's 96%. Do the right things in, put on the right things out, and you got the numbers working for you instead of the numbers working against you. That's huge, 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 huge. So when you look at Essanté Organics as a company, guess what? My goodness, you're going to see everything that you do every single solitary day, because we don't want chemicals to get inside the body. I talk about this all the time. Your immune system, your lymphatic system, right? And I'm going to beat this up every single time. And Becky's going to be like, call me up going, Mike, you know what? You're always talking about that. You better stop. You know, I've already heard that before a few times, but it's really important, if you're a first time listener, that understanding that you got an immune system and you got a lymphatic system. They work together. And your immune system is just a bunch of fighters. That's all it does. It's like soldiers, right? Your lymphatic system is like the fort where the soldiers go once in a while and hang out and rest a little bit and get ready for the next fight, you know? And the thing is that's all they do. They just keep fighting and fighting, from environmental issues and free radicals and things in our food and things that we're putting on top of ourselves. And they fight, and they don't kill everything. And then all of a sudden they're like, well, we can't get this one. We can't kill this one. Take it back to the fort, which is the lymphatic system. And everything's going to get killed in the fort if you're healthy. Then the fort kills it. Why? So it doesn't get into your bloodstream. That's why. And so, you know what? So now when you think about it, you know, we can do all this good stuff on the inside of ourselves, but if we're not doing good stuff on the outside of ourselves, you're going to really get a really chaotic, very bad chaotic immune system. And what's going to happen is all of a sudden there you are, you're in the shower, you're putting you're under the water, your pores open up. Here all of a sudden you're using your Paul Mitchell or your Veda or whatever the head, bed head, whatever you call it, whatever you're using in your shower. And next thing that happens is all your fighters go, whoa, what's going on up there? Hurry up. They're running up there and they're trying to push all this toxicity, all these horrible, horrific, toxic chemicals. They're trying to keep it from going into you. Why? Because it go into your bloodstream in 26 seconds and enter all major organs within 5 to 8 minutes. So it's pushing, it's pushing. And then you rinse it out and then they're like, oh, we can rest. Oh, here comes what? Here comes the conditioner. Now more soldiers start running up there because these guys are worn out. More and more and more and more. And then we're going to use the shower gel. Now it's all over the body. Now we're going to do this. We're going to do that. Then we're going to get out and we're put on some, whatever the case might be. And it's just a constant fight inside your body with these fighters and these soldiers. And then what happens is while they're doing all that fighting and fighting and fighting, you created such a horrific imbalance with your immune system. And now you've created chaos. You've created, you know, it's just craziness. And then all of a sudden you go, wait, what's that? What's that I'm feeling? What's that over there? What's that? And you start going in and you start getting bad health reports. Why? Because you had your fighters so confused fighting stuff that you're inducing it yourself. You're doing it to yourself. Why did we start this company? So you don't do it to yourself. So when you get up in the morning, you can go and use every single product that Essanté Organic has developed, everything, and go. And I don't care if you're a man, a woman, a little child, a senior citizen, everything from the womb to the tomb. I'm going to tell you what, you're putting all this stuff on top of you and doing the right things. And you know what happens then? Tony told you what happened. Okay. That's what happened when he changed his life. What happened? His life changed, right? So that's what we do here. Everything, plants. Again, go back to biblical days. How's your faith, right? Go in there and read Genesis, the last two, 29 and 30. I gave you plants for food. What does that tell you? Plants are food, plants are energy, plants are life force, plants are frequency, plants vibrate, plants are biomimetic, meaning you can get all your nutrition, all your amino acids and peptides and everything that you're talking about from plants. Plants are bioidentical. Chlorophyll and blood have the same exact chemical makeup. That's why what's happening to Tony is happening to Tony, because he's got a high chlorophyll intake. If you could measure that, it'd be extremely high. And remember, every second of the day, throughout the whole day, millions and millions and millions of cells die. But guess what? Millions of cells get regenerated. You rejuvenate cells. Are you rejuvenate good cells? Are you rejuvenating bad cells? How are you going to know? Simple. What's your lifestyle like? If you're putting good stuff inside you, good stuff on top of you, I can guarantee it, you're rejuvenating good cells. Any other way, good on, bad in, good in, bad on, you got a fight going on. And then something's going to take you out. And then you're going to have to worry about that. And then, get into that whole issue. And you don't want to get into that issue. It's not a good issue to get into. So you can look at Essanté Organics and go, wow, they got everything I do. So guess what? Doesn't matter what age, who you are, what gender, you're going to get up, you're going to go do everything you did during the day. And tonight you're going to go to bed and go, wow, look at that. I didn't even touch myself with a chemical, not even through my clothes, because I'm washing it with plants. It's amazing. It's amazing. Things we don't even think of. Plants are everything. And remember something, plants were man's first medicine. And if they didn't work, we wouldn't be on this Zoom. The whole earth would be wiped out. Plants were man's first medicine. So use them as that. They're healing. They got healing properties. Do them right. That's what we teach. That's why we do these things. And that's what this whole company is all about. That's it. And then what? There's a business tied to it too? Absolutely. Why? Because I've been in this industry for 40 years. I know what it's like to come from a middle-class family that just got by. And then all of a sudden I said, wow, I'm going to work this business. And my brother says, who talked me into it. And then we tell our parents and they're like, wow, I wonder if dear Abby's got something to say about that, because Dr. Phil wasn't around, because they'd have us on that show thinking that we lost our marbles. Well, you know what? We lost our marbles to the tune of $40 million. That's what happened, right? Made a lot of money in this space in 40 years, because we did the right thing. We stuck to the right thing. We didn't jump around. We weren't kangaroos. And when you see a good thing, you stick with it. And that's why you got guys like Robert Blackman, the GOAT. The GOAT. This guy's like Tom Brady in this industry, right? You got Dr. Becky, look at that. Well, let's see what female, I don't know the female athletes, what am I going to say? So she's here and a whole bunch of them, right? I'm alkalizing, by the way, just so you know. Anyway, so with that being said, and guess what? Not only a company that's been around for 20 years, but it's got a teeny tiny database. It does, because we got all our customers when we were on TV. We were on TV, Access Hollywood, Entertainment Tonight, Extra TV, The Today Show, The Doctors, Good Morning America, Us Weekly, Star, Woman's World, Vogue, and I'm sure I'm missing a lot of them, okay? Elle magazines. They come to us and do these articles, right? Now I work with two of the largest research centers in the world that deal with the most horrible diseases that you could ever imagine. And people are using this, they're using this as the protocol. The people are on it as a protocol. And that's the biggest tool in the belt, what you're putting inside and on top of yourself. And guess what? They're walking away with everything's gone. They're perfect. They're running out like little 10-year-old kids, happy as you can be. But if you get stuck in the medical system in the United States, you know what you see? You see here, if there was one doctor in the United States, this is what he would look like if he was curing everybody. Because there's nobody in the waiting room, or there's 2 miles of people standing up to get cured. But you know what? They don't do that here, but they do it where I went to. That's exactly what they do. It's amazing. You go in, and I'm talking some terrible stages, and these people are coming out completely healthy, healed. Let's put it that way, because they healed themselves with plants. That's what they do down there. I've seen it. I've been there myself. So now you got a business opportunity that's been all over TV. And you got a nice small database, which you can go build a good fixed income with, a fixed asset, an income that's going to be residual, that's going to be sustainable, viable, generational, give it to the kids, but a component that has never been done before in the history of this space. Because I wrote comp plans and fixed them and everything like that, creating a compensation plan that pays you 10% on all the volume that's happening inside your organization, forever, forever. And anybody you bring into the company, anybody, you're going to match their check 100%. So let's talk small numbers. What does that look like, Mike? Well, let's just say you got 10 people in the business and they were just making $250 a week. Not only would you make all your income and 4 other ways to make income, which we're not going to get into, you can go read it yourself, but you're going to match all their checks, which means you just gave yourself a $10,000 a month raise because you made $10,000 on matching bonus checks. That's huge. That's absolutely huge. And now that's why we're seeing all the people coming out of retirement, true story. And I'm not, I say there's, here's the good side, right? This is the grass. This is the good, ethical companies, ethical people, not a bunch of kangaroos jumping all over the place. They focused or they do their thing and they become very successful doing it. Then you got over here, the unethical people, the kangaroos. This is the artificial turf. We don't hang over there on the artificial turf. We're over here with these grass guys, right? And the cool thing is watching a whole ton of them come out in the last 2 weeks, 3 weeks, about 11 of them that are multi-millionaires coming out of retirement to say, move over, Mike. Don't talk so much. Be quiet. Don't talk so much. Did you get that one? I know Becky did. So anyway, move over. Let us take this like Becky, taking a company from $19 million to $1 billion in sales in 5 years. That's what you got. You get to work with all these people, get to hang with all these people. That's huge. So with that, I think I've covered just about everything other than timing. The world's going green. It's my brother here because I get him on the line. I'll tell you that. He could talk about that. Let's see. JJ, are you here? Yeah.
Yes, I am.
Go ahead. Talk about it. Tell him, you know the Danny story.
Sure. Well, it comes down to just history. We've all learned that history repeats itself. And if we were to go back in the 80s and you were to invest in the internet, anything on the internet, suits.com, calendars.com, whatever.com, if you got in with that right company, you could be a billionaire. Well, if you missed that, if you didn't invest a few $100s in Microsoft or Apple or any of these companies that have become huge, the next big thing is happening right now. It's a multi-trillion-dollar industry that it's becoming, and it's the green movement. And you get paid for your foresight, never your hindsight. And what I'm here to tell you is whether you want this or not, whether I want this or not, whether Michael or Dr. Becky wants this or not, the world's going green. It's going green right now. Not just in the houses that we live in, not only in the cars that we drive, but what we put in and on our body. And we're dealing with an educated public because of this device. Everybody's walking around with more intelligence than they've ever had because they're connected to the internet. And in many cases, they know more than their healthcare provider does on a certain subject. So when somebody's given the opportunity to say, okay, you can continue to take the products, use the products that you've been using all these years, but have toxic ingredients that are linked to horrific diseases, much more than eye and skin irritation. Or over here, you've got products that are toxic free, made from organic ingredients, and are guaranteed to work as well, if not better than this stuff over here. And there's a business associated with it. You can write off your purchases. I've never seen anybody choose back to the toxic stuff. In fact, people get angry that there's not some governmental agency or some watchdog agency that's telling them for all these years that they and their kids and their babies have been using, slathering these toxic ingredients, again, linked to horrific diseases. So the world's going green with me or without me. And I invite each and every one of you to join us because this is exciting and it's the most noble idea that I know of. Thanks, Michael.
Absolutely. Think about what he just said. Getting paid to shop and earn cash back on all your online purchases, converting what you're already spending and buying into earnings. That's absolutely huge. And with that, get with the person that got you on here tonight. Thank you so much, Dr. Becky, for being here, and for everybody. And Tony, beautiful, beautiful testimony. And Thursday night, we're going to be on with Robert Blackman, the GOAT, right? And when this gets off, then, they don't call him the GOAT because of that. I'm going to tell you right now, okay? He's the GOAT because this guy, when you hear his story, that's going to be huge. And so he's going to be with us. a couple others, and we're going to hear a lot of awesome testimonies from, and I'll even bring some weight loss testimonies on here. Look, when we take a guy, when we talk about what we talked about in the beginning, and you take a guy that walks in our door that's almost 500 pounds, and today he's still, and he loses so much weight the right way that he ends up in the Guinness Book of World Records. He did. And then today he still weighs like 168 pounds, and he's models male clothing for I mean, that's good stuff. That we're going to hear from those types of people on Thursday. So be here Thursday, get with the person that got you on here tonight. And you know what? We'll see you again. And if you need any help, you can reach out to any of us, and we're always available. So peace, love, and we love you guys. God bless you. God bless your families. God bless your businesses. And we'll see you right back here on this channel on Thursday evening. Have a good evening. Be blessed.